are live today with our Powerpreneur show, which is soon turning into a podcast because we are committed to the show. We're bringing the best of the entrepreneurs who are thriving, building communities, have worked on their mindset, and that leads to the topic that we're about to talk on to today. But I want to apologize that we had planned for our doctor from Metaverse to show up today, which McCoy will talk about. And there is a little challenge there on her showing up on the show today. So, McCoy, you want to kind of apologize on what
Yeah,
happened?
sure.
And yeah,
So, as some of you guys on the East Coast are aware, we have a hurricane. Right now, I hear that it's a Category 1. So, she's actually down in Florida. Dr. Naomi JB, she's called the Metaverse Doc. So, we're going to reschedule with her. But right now, she's kind of had some internet outages and some other problems with just electricity and so forth. So, we're going to reschedule. But without further ado, we will still let the show go on, right? So today we are going to talk about a few of just some of our secrets that we use and leverage within entrepreneurship. So I figured today we'll talk a little bit about some mindset things and then just the benefits to having a good sense of community. So, Dr. Shah?
absolutely. So I kind of set the tone, put some music on, and yeah, we're gonna use this opportunity, McCoy, to talk about some of the entrepreneurial aspects of how we have been on this journey and what we did. Because we started this whole journey of going full-time entrepreneurs in the middle of COVID, if you remember. And there was no way to build any live community, which we have that opportunity today. I'm going to all these events and masterminds and trade shows, and all of that didn't exist in 2020 and 2021. 2021, it was like semi because some states had opened up and started doing stuff. But can you imagine what a lot of other people would have done um, differently and how we did it differently? Let's talk about that. Like, we still had a robust community that we had to like we had the opportunity to build and rely on during that COVID. Do you remember, like,
Mm-hmm.
you bought your scanner package with that stimulus check you had?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, well, first of all, if there's a will, there's a way, right? So, I think that no matter what the situation is and just who it is, if you just apply, grit, willpower, some of those key aspects to discipline, then you're gonna find a way to make some things happen, right? But for us, yeah, with COVID, that was really a huge pivot, not just for us, but for the whole world, right? It's a pandemic. So we really just leveraged what we already had, leveraged our resources, and we leveraged that very wisely. And so the key to one of the big keys to our success, I feel, is that we were already building our network, building our community, engaging with them multiple times per week. We have so many mastermind calls, master action calls, just calls that really talks about entrepreneur, calls that talks about what we do with the scanner business and antioxidants for some of our healthcare niches within that just subset of what we do in total, right? So I think that because we were already building our community and building it in a way where we were already communicating, where we already just had a system going, where we already had the channels of communications similar to funnels, right? Funnels are huge now, right? But similar to funnels, but in our own way, we already had a lot of those channels built up, and I think that that was a big key to some of the successes that we're seeing now.
Absolutely. So that's what it comes down to, is how are you doing things differently, which is going out of the box and leveraging what's available to you instead of whining and complaining.
Hmm.
And that's what we did. We leveraged LinkedIn, and LinkedIn is absolutely our favorite platform to build businesses, build communities, build friendships. I have some. absolutely lifelong friendship, like our friendship. We have
Mm-hmm.
a amazing friendship that we know we're going to keep for the rest of our life, and a lot of other special friendships with other pharmacists in the community that we have built. So what we did was, okay, the world has shut down, and that's all right because we can't control that. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
this is a pandemic, so the entire world is going through the whole process together. And we have internet, we have all these amazing platforms. There's different platforms for different people. For us, LinkedIn happened to be the platform of voice, because every entrepreneur has a platform of voice that they can leverage. And since we're not into the fake glamorous things that other platforms show, like especially Instagram is different, right? We honed into LinkedIn, built an entire community, and then found out that Florida is still open to do events. So we were still in 2020. We did our first event in Florida, and
Mm-hmm.
it was a good turnout. We had
It
about what,
was.
60, 70 people.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So
But
that community still existed in the middle of COVID.
mm-hmm. And it
With
still
no
exists
one.
today.
Well,
two
now
two
it's,
years later.
yeah, and now,
But
oh
we've
yeah, the
transformed that,
same,
right?
yeah. hmm Yeah, all the people that I met, I'm still working with them. And uh it's funny how, like, everybody else was complaining, but we were like, I was literally going to cities and entire airports were like ghost towns. There was like no shops open, no people working, like really minimum staff, and everything was covered up. And I've never seen America like that in 16 years of being here. And I was like, wow. And I'm like, I'm traveling, right? Am I the anomaly here? Because even Uber wouldn't show up to the airport to pick me up. So
There was a lot going on, but even me being a breastfeeding mom, I still got on a plane and did what I had to do, right? Entrepreneurship is really what you make it. You can make excuses, you can blame, you can complain, or you can kind of just take the reins and just kind of go with it as you can. We have one of our audience members here, Bonnie Drake, says, as a cannabis nurse, I turned to video consulting during COVID. That's something that a lot of people did. And definitely thanks for sharing, Bonnie. But yeah, we kind of really had to leverage technology and internet. And unfortunately, some people aren't as tech savvy. But some of the ways that you can pivot and reframe around that is maybe you do go out and hire a VA. Maybe you go out and hire a team to kind of take on some of those technological challenges that you may have. So there's still a way around things that you feel may be a weakness or something that may not be one of your strong suits.
yeah, absolutely. And these times, they really kind of put us through the test of our mindset, of our thinking outside the box, how we're going to survive and how we're going to stand out. So every adversity is an opportunity to grow. That's how I've always seen. And this was just another one. I also had my health challenges that I was dealing with. And today, what I am, I wasn't the same person at that time. And I was still doing meetings, still trying to do all the business setup that I had to do so that when pandemic is over, I can thrive as an entrepreneur, not just still surviving, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, um, that's what it comes down to. Now, how do we do the mindset work? And how, like, a lot of people are stuck in their ways, as you say, McCoy, like too close to identify the problem. Like they're
Mm-hmm.
so close to their own problem.
Yeah, that
So
they can't see it.
yeah, one of the book I highly suggest reading is Breaking the Habit of Being You. So
Mm-hmm.
basically, we are so wired. I was just thinking today, sometimes I start something new and then I do it for a few days and then I go in my back to go back to my mundane ways of doing something. So I started using my Lumi Spa and I was feeling so good. I did it for 10 days and then I was at this masterful communicator event for 3 days, and it gets hectic. And this week I realized that I haven't used it in like 4 days now. So I was like, oh, okay, I need to pull myself back into using it, because the effects and the results of using that Lumi Spa is absolutely amazing.
Right.
But then I forgot after 10 days. So it takes 70 days to really form a habit where it becomes a part of your lifestyle.
Hmm.
You have to do it 70 days
Yeah.
every day, every day, every
And you're
day.
right. We all do experience days that are not like other days, where it just kind of gets us out of our habits, and things just kind of, some days are more chaotic than others. Oh, I didn't see that I was going to get a flat tire today, and it just kind of throws your routine out of the loop that you're used to, right? So I think that it's very important for people to find ways to have some sort of just a routine to just kind of center and bring yourself back to a present moment. So one thing that you can do as far as mindset and just kind of bringing yourself back despite being put out of your routine is just taking 90 seconds. And this is something you should start doing every single day, because when you do get in an event where you are, frustrated or upset or angry or fearful of something, what have you, you can always leverage this technique. But you take 90 seconds to really just take a deep breath and just kind of find where you are and bring yourself back into the present moment. And then after you take that 90-second of just deep breathing, then you sit there and say, okay, what is this trigger trying to tell me? What is this trying to teach me? Is this anger just really a secondary emotion to something else that I'm really being triggered by, or really something that I buried deep that I really need to think about and just find time to really understand it, to feel it, and to release it? So I really enjoy taking the 90 seconds to just breathe and to find that presence in your routine, so that whenever something do kind of just goes out of whack, you're able to just say, you know what, I'm already used to this. We're going to do this now. We're going to figure out what it is, so that I can, pretty much do more than just tie a band-aid around it, right? We can actually do something about it, really getting down to the root, feel what I need to feel, maybe release a few tears and say, you know what, I accept this, is fine. I release this. I'm no longer going to be bound by this emotion or this mental block or this trigger or what have you. And I'm going to just start to move forward. After you release that, you should definitely feel much more better. Another thing that I really like, as far as like just mindset and just kind of just really making sure that you're able to just get through your days without, just things just kind of messing you up, is just to have anchors. So when you really think about like an anchor of a ship, right? What does it do? It really just holds that ship
Kind
in
of
place so that
grounding,
it's not
grounding
exactly
effect.
ground. That's a very good word for this, actually. It helps to ground you where, so that you're not just going every which way, right? It helps you to
Right.
be in that moment, in the present moment. So when we apply that to just being an entrepreneur or just dealing with things in life, um, having something that kind of anchors you into the present moment. So one random example, this is something I like to do, is sometimes I like to drink tea, maybe a matcha. For some people it could be coffee. But the way that you leverage the anchoring part is to, every day for 5 minutes, when I drink my tea, my coffee, my matcha, no phones, no notifications, no phone calls, no running around doing laundry. You take that 5 minutes to anchor, and you use the technique of drinking a tea or coffee or whatever to remind you that this is your anchoring moment, to be present, to just take time to reflect. How am I feeling? How am I doing? I'm going to set the stage for my day. And I think that those are some very powerful techniques to use and leverage as far as mindset is concerned, to really turn around negative things into positives, per se.
Yeah, no, those are some golden nuggets you've shared. And, everyone can do it differently. So for me, I'm usually drinking my matcha tea and all the other things during a lot of meetings. So I don't get that chance but for me, what I do personally is the same technique that you do it that way. I leave my phone behind at the house, and I take my pup and go out for a nice walk in the sun. And then me and her, like, we go in the grass area and we play. And, I sit down and just kind of really, do that grounding meditation. And for me, it's longer. So I take about 20-30 minutes to do this. And it's amazing. I really feel that that grounding effect, but also the power, like the goddess power that has really come back. Because sometimes, I lose alignment with it. So that's
Mm-hmm.
my way of doing it, because again, like you have Cooper, so I'm sure you can, at times I try to contact you, but you're not reachable, so you probably put your phone away and go with your son and spend quality time with him, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So yeah,
Yeah.
and even then, like just even with doing anything, being a mom, being a having a job, all those things, you do need to have breaks, and it's important to find something that you can anchor, whether it be a tea, whether it be a walk, whether it be just anything that can really just allow you to take time away from everybody else, everything else, time for you, time for self-care, time for reflection, etc. So we have one of our other audience members who is an MD, a Dr. Allie. She says, y'all need to have me on. We have to learn how to shift gears in terms of brain wave states. It has to be at your fingertips, shift between beta, alpha, theta, delta, and gamma. I definitely agree. You need 20 to 30 minutes
Wow. We need
minimum.
to have him on for the meditation part. He's Dr. Ali Chaudhry and has an extensive history of coming on to LinkedIn and being banned and then coming back. So he's done a lot of work onto coming back onto the platform. So I'd love to learn, what he's doing in the whole meditation field and how he's shifting between the beta, alpha, theta, delta, and gamma. And there are times where we're automatically into certain states
Mm-hmm.
in the realm of how our day progresses, right? Like when we are about to fall asleep, when we wake up, when we are fully awake, when the sun is setting, and like all the different times automatically has an effect. And I think this would be a really cool conversation to have
Yeah.
Dr. Chaudhry on. What do you think?
Yeah, let's do it. We're always looking for guests for our Powerpreneur Signature Show, so we can certainly reach out on LinkedIn and we can set something up. So definitely, thanks for sharing. So, but yeah, back to just a sense of community, right? So what's the saying? Birds of a feather flock together. You also hear sayings like you are the summation of the five people that you hang out with the most. And I can distinctly remember like just being a kid and just thinking like there's no way that other people are going to dictate how I am. I got straight A's. I'm pretty smart. There's no way no one's going to come and interrupt my flow and what I got going on. It just didn't make sense to me. But now that I'm a lot older, I certainly see it now. And I think just us as human beings being social creatures, we kind of, whether consciously or subconsciously, we gravitate towards some level of attention, some level of communication, some level of validation and wanting to seem a certain way, be a certain way, and all these other things. So in turn, we start to take on some of those other habits that other people take on, start talking like some people talk that are within our circles, and the things that they value, we start to take upon some of those values, beliefs as well. So it's very much important to have not only just a community, but a community that is thriving, a community that wants to be better, wants to do better. They have masterminds. They take time to mind their gaps and reevaluate their weaknesses, and really take time to just get better, be better, right?
Yeah, honestly, I got an invite over the weekend, last weekend, to go and attend a Masterful Communicator event, and it was a 3-day event. I got the invite on Friday. I was booked out for Friday, so I couldn't go. But I cleared my schedule for Saturday and Sunday to make it happen. And I learned so much about like how to be a better communicator, what are the levels of communication, how to be more compassionate, how to be more heart-centered entrepreneur. And today I have a meeting after this with the event host about leveraging like our networks to help each other out, and just so much that comes out of it. Like I booked a few calls with a lot of other people from the communication from the Masterful Communicator event, and um, a great community. So much to learn and grow and transform, right?
Mm-hmm.
And one of the one of the person from there now today invited me to their business experience retreat, where how to show up on videos more authentically and be more grounded, and there's a whole procedure to that. So now I'm going to be a part of that retreat. So all these things, right? Like, amazing. But as an entrepreneur, you have to grow. You have
Mm-hmm.
to grow. Everything that you have is a domino effect of who you are, how you're reinventing yourself, how you're showing up, right? Like all
Mm-hmm.
of these different things.
You're absolutely right. I think that it's really important that, let's say you're a new entrepreneur and you're like, I still don't know where to start. I hear you guys, but there's still more how-to things that I haven't figured out. I think it's very much important to get some sort of mentorship, coach, just somebody who can essentially lead the way and help point out, okay, this is something that maybe you want to work on. This is how you can be better. This is something that I've adapted that I would love to share with you. Here's my checklist. Here's my blueprint that I wouldn't mind passing down to you. So it's important to really have somebody that really kind of just checks and balance, you where you might be weak or just really naive or just new to. I think that both of us really take pride in having coaches ourselves. We have coaches together as well as some coaches individually, and then we do our own subset of coaching as well. And I think that to really uh, uh, not only talk the talk but walk the walk, or really have skin in the game, to really be able to say, not only am I a coach or that we are coaches, we have coaches and we are coaches to others as well. And no matter who you are, there's still their journey, they're still learning, there's still growth. So even our coaches have coaches. So it's important to realize that investing in yourself is like super super important. And if you don't see value in that, then that's something that maybe you need to sit down, maybe journal on, maybe have a conversation with somebody about some of the benefits, the pros and cons to having a coach. Because again, this is how you can essentially take that quantum leap forward and really just go move forward faster.
Absolutely. I wouldn't be where I am in just 2 years if I didn't have all these high level coaches that I've hired. People find it hard to believe, but I've spent almost over 100,000 in my personal journey of hiring coaches of different kinds. And honestly, that has really brought me like the whole big picture of how I want to grow, how I want to implement, and the mindset, the out of the box thinking, and breaking limiting beliefs that I have. Or we all have a belief system. That's where it all starts. And belief system might not be the truth of the universal belonging, and you have to understand how your belief system is getting in your own way of growth, and the universal truth is something else, versus what you have really believed because of some small experiences of yours. So you have to break out of that in order to grow. And if I didn't do all that work, I wouldn't have some of the most amazing people I work with today, just because we become so judgmental because of the belief system we have built. And everything is done by the age of 7. So you're pretty much doomed if you didn't do it correctly by the age of 7, and which you have no control over. You're completely dependent on others around you to create that belief system.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's showing up. It's like that past that keeps haunting you in your adulthood, and you don't even know what's happening.
Mm-hmm. So here's some analogies I was just thinking about. Think about, for if you're a parent, think about how love changed once you became a parent. Let's say if you when you graduated high school or college, think about that feeling when you finally walked across that stage or finally received that diploma. The accomplishment really set in differently. There was a new feeling to that word. It was no longer just a word. So in other words, with these analogies, when you get coaching and you really cross that threshold of really being able to start self identifying things that you need to work on, it just hits so differently. It's no longer just I have a coach. It's like I have a coach. I love having a coach. I want to be a coach because I've just leveled up and I really want to share this knowledge. Again, it's no longer just words anymore. There are those emotional connections with those words that just allow it to just really sink in from the outside in, and you just really feel what those words mean at that point. And I'm just so thankful
Absolutely.
to just me being accountable, me finding that accountability, me having that discipline, me going out and getting what I want, and me setting my goals and achieving them, because they have enabled me to really just move far in life. And I'm so thankful. And for the rest of my life, I'm so thankful to be able to continue to look into masterminds, into coaches, into mentors, into investing in myself as an entrepreneur.
Absolutely. No, it is such a powerful journey. And I always tell people like your entrepreneurial journey will look different than someone else's. So don't like once you say yes to entrepreneurship, you are ready to leave the rat race. So don't bring those principles to entrepreneurship. Like don't try to compare yourself and make yourself like feel less, or this is not corporate America. This is your own journey, this is your own destiny, and this is something that you are building for yourself as a legacy. So sometimes it's fast, sometimes it's slow, it's got its own up and down pathways. And some people think that, oh, now I've decided to be an entrepreneur and I'm in business, and now everybody's just gonna start coming to me. It doesn't work like that.
No, it doesn't.
And then they start giving up.
Yeah, entrepreneurship is not easy. And one of the biggest lessons I think that I had to learn in the past 30 days is just more so law of attraction type stuff. Making space within me to be that magnet to attract more, to maybe, let's say I'm making $2,000 a month and I really want to climb to that 5,000 mark, or that 10,000 month a dollar mark, a dollar month mark as well. I need to make space to be able to receive it. So let's tie it into somebody that might, for example, hit the lottery. Oftentimes, somebody hits the lottery and they just blow their money and they have nothing to show for it, no investments, and they go bankrupt and so forth. That's because they were not a vibrational match for that. They did not make the space to be able to really hold and value and allow for that money to just really be a vibrational match for them to not only hold it longer, but be able to invest it so that they're able to spend it and make more from it. And when I first heard of
Right.
that lottery concept, I was like, that doesn't really make sense. But now that I've been doing a lot of just, minding my own gaps, paying attention to my emotions, paying attention to how my body feels, paying attention to my finances, and so many other things. Now that I've been really paying attention to those things and making space to not hold on to things that no longer serve me, or having these limiting beliefs or these limiting things that this scarcity mindset where I got to hold on to money because I'm afraid it might not come back. Just really releasing a lot of that stuff has really worked in a way where you think it's opposite, but it just attracts it. And I'm just like, what? It at first it didn't make sense, but now that I'm actually doing it, it makes a lot of sense. It's just one of them things where once you do and once you be, you will see.
Wow, that is powerful. No, I totally agree. There's so much work to do, and sometimes you really have to understand, like, what is it that's not letting you scale, or what is it that's coming in your way? Because we are the direct reflection of, like, basically everything. Like, let's say when you put a mirror here and like you look at yourself, like look at all your failures and all your successes and then sum it up, and that's what you are attracting or bringing to the table. So depending on how you want to like pivot and do better, you have to understand what is it that this being can do to change all of this. And the day I learned that we can only control one thing, which is our own actions and emotions, and rest we cannot do anything about, I stopped fighting. I have not fought that concept at all because it's very tiresome to control other people, to control um, other people's emotions or thinking or circumstances, or even just like your environment. You just have to understand if this is not coherent with what you want to do, you have to remove yourself and put yourself somewhere else. You cannot change what's around here. That's why this mindset work is so important. And then building the like-minded community that you want to thrive with. That's why you got to keep your inner circle tight. Like who you spend your time and energy with is also so crucial. And you know, I wrote a post on the concept of 33%. So 33% of the people that are your mentors and coaches that you're learning from, they're above you. 33% are with you on the same level, and that's your community. And then 33% are the ones that you're coaching and bringing up, like giving. So that's how we need to look at, like, are you doing that 33% correctly? Because a lot of times people are on like 70-80% of the time with people below them, or just like, when I was in the corporate healthcare job, I had a lot of people that were either on my level or below me. So a lot of my time was not spent in that 33% trifecta that we should be. So I
Mm-hmm.
had to stop hanging out with a lot of them. Like they would, invite me to a lot of events, and I had to start saying no because I would rather just sit home and watch a interview of someone that I look up to, because they're not my mentors yet, or I haven't hired the coaches that I want to hire because I'm still looking. So all that, like clearing up your space and energy and shifting gears, um, that's what the work looks like.
So let me rephrase it to make sure our audience members understand that. So instead of spending 70, 80, 90% of your time going to the parties, going to the clubs, hanging out with people from middle school and high school, instead of spending the majority of your time with people that are on your level or quite frankly below it, you need to also make time for people that are on levels above you so that you can have that trajectory to go above. So you want to split them into 33 percentages where, yeah, you still can have fun, you still can go out. I like to go out, I'm still young, right? But I'm not going to spend majority of my time going out every single day, every single weekend, for example. And I take time that even if I can't get in the rooms with a Tony Robbins or whoever, I go on YouTube, I go on a podcast, I read a book. I find time to make time for that 30% of people who are where I want to go, or at some level in on an increasing plane for me to move forward with whatever it is that I'm doing.
Absolutely. You said it so beautifully. And that's what was my first realization, was when it came to scaling. Because think about this. Why would someone above you want to spend time with you?
Only if
What
you're
do you bring?
providing some sort of value, right? And if there's no value, then I mean, you're wasting my time, right? Unless they're getting paid to mentor you or coach you or something.
Again, that's another form
That's
of
value
value,
though. Yeah.
right? So I realized that in order to put myself in the
Those rooms.
circle, yeah, I paid $50,000 for my first mastermind.
And you want to know something? Some people are like, oh my gosh, that's a lot of money, I wouldn't do that, blah blah blah. That's where you need to stop. Limiting belief, limiting mindset, that is a time for you to reframe, to rethink what is the trigger behind why I automatically shut that down into investing in myself. Why did I automatically think the negative thing? That's the moments like that, when you have those negative thoughts, when you're over analyzing or critically thinking more on the negative side of something, that's where you need to stop, to start reframing and having that mindset shift to say, you know what, if this person who is actually doing well in life, doing those things, What do I need to do to be put in those same rooms, to be in those same circles, to learn from those same types of gurus, etc.?
Yeah, so I hired, Tan Merrill as my coach, and he owns this whole mastermind community, which is specialized in real estate. It's called Fortune Builders, and it's him and three of his other partners, and they're also buddies from school, and he was an ex NFL. But the whole point is that at that time when I got enrolled into his program, their company was net worth about like 700 million. Today, in 4 years of, being a part of that community and learning so much from this person, is a billionaire.
So for those people again that were like, oh my gosh, she says she pays 50 grand to be a part of mastermind, that were like, oh no, right? Now when you hear the rest of the story, you're probably like, wait a minute, I need to listen more.
And I was a six-figure earner to a multiple six-figure earner on my way to a seven-figure.
Right. But
How did that happen? Do you think it would have happened if I stayed in my corporate healthcare job and just hang out with other pharmacists and pharmacy managers and techs?
No. When you take charge of your own life and start finding a way to be that magnet for the things that you want, things definitely change. And unfortunately, people want to stick to just the logical side of their brains instead of really allowing for the other emotional side, the other side that wants to be more in flow and allow that intuition to really speak to them. When you don't have that balance, you're not able to see things in the ways that successful entrepreneurs are, because it's important to really reframe and have that mindset shift. And that's why it's so important, because you're thinking logically from your perception or perspective, which may be narrow, but in order to broaden it, you need to start working on yourself and some of those limiting beliefs and scarcity mindset types of things.
Absolutely. I mean, I've learned so much from this community, and of course, I've benefited immensely, and I'm still a part of it. And after that, like, things have been completely different in my life. So that was only one of it. I have another coach. And then we have our own business coach together that is helping us with being more spiritual entrepreneur, and so many different things that we do in order to grow and learn from and pivot, and people don't understand what it takes to be a successful entrepreneur, and most people are not ready to make that investment in themselves. And what happens at the end of it is they end up living a very below average life, and just nobody, like, all their dreams and aspirations never got anywhere.
Well, let's take the art framework, for example. It starts with awareness, then it starts with the responsibility, and then it starts with the trust. And all those things need to happen within self. So with you building the awareness, with you attending this show, for example, you are already taking a step forward to be a vibrational match, to start attracting and bringing some of the higher quality things that you want in life. So you should definitely give yourself a pat on the back. Awareness is number one. Taking notes, looking up things to start learning from, even if you don't have the money to invest in yourself up front. Because even when I got started with entrepreneurship, I had to really work smarter than harder, and really pay attention to some of the free things before I could finally get to a place where I could financially invest in myself. I mean, just stating the facts. But when I got to that place, best believe I started investing in myself. And again, that quantum leap is just, I'm just so thankful. So having that awareness and then taking responsibility. Okay, how can I set goals? What do I need to work on? What are some things that just emotionally trigger me to the point where I'm resisting this change, where I'm resisting moving forward, where I'm resisting having that discipline? That's something you need to have a conversation with yourself. I mean, you don't have to be out in public talking to yourself, but in your room, maybe have that conversation with yourself. Hey self, what's going on? Why can I not really just go and take this step forward? Am I worried about what other people are going to say? Well, that violates your authenticity with yourself, for example. So really thinking about how you're doing yourself a disservice by not taking responsibility for yourself, right? And then in the end, when you start having that trust, that courage to say, you know what, it's time to do this, it's time to make this happen. And the beauties of entrepreneurship as well is you don't have to do these things by yourself. This is why community is important, right? This is why possibly having a mentor or coach is important. This is why for the family members that do support you is important, you know? So that art framework is something that I absolutely think is a good thing to evaluate anything that you have, especially within yourself.
We have Dr. McLean. Awareness is the crux of the matter at all times. Yes, awareness. It all starts with understanding and being aware of it, then taking the step. Now, just staying in that awareness phase doesn't do anything if you're not taking the steps also. So that's what I've realized is the biggest mental prison that people live in is just like here, which is like, what are other people gonna think? And I'm like, really? Like, are they all paying your bills? Are they supporting you? Or
I
are
was
you
guilty of that. I used to care so much what people think, and to some level I still do, but it's not as bad as, like, my reputation was so important to me. You're not gonna catch me messing up, you're not gonna catch me slipping up. If I decide to go have a little fun, you won't see me in town. Like, I was just headstrong about my reputation and what other people thought, and that prevented me from moving forward in a lot of different aspects. And when I really got down to some of those root issues and really realizing this isn't allowing me to be authentic to myself, once I really got down and dug deep and worked on that, things changed.
But you had to be aware that it's coming in your way and you need to work on it. Most people don't even know that.
Again, this is for the people on this call, awareness. Step 1 is already done. Now this is where you start taking responsibility, start trusting, and then you start taking action, baby.
Oh yeah, that's what it comes down to. So the great call today, McCoy. Very last minute for us to know that our guest wasn't gonna be able to make it, and of course we're gonna have the guest. But honestly, I'm excited to launch our podcast and be one of the best podcasts that we can be, because it's all about giving strength to the community. It's all about helping people reinvent themselves so they can live the best life that they deserve. And we are already doing it, so we can help others now.
Absolutely. We definitely support all of you guys in the audience that are supporting what we're doing here. Please feel free to comment in the chat, whether you're live or on the replay. We'd love to hear from you guys. You guys can definitely follow us on LinkedIn with the Healthpreneur Institute for our Powerpreneur Signature Show. So thank you guys so much. We are Dr. Mansi and Dr. McCoy. So here we are signing out. You guys have a powerful week.
Yes, namaste. Take care.